Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It's Styles Varies coming back at y'all again. I'm a little bit late with my Aftermath upload, but I just want to talk a little bit about the fight this past weekend on Saturday. And I'm going to go back on the record and say I was wrong. Bernard Hopkins lost the fight by unanimous decision to Chad Dawson. Now, the fight, it was a pretty boring fight. Bernard Hopkins, I guess due to his old age, he didn't really want to get in there and mix it up too much. He would throw a lead right hand and then immediately try to hold Dawson the whole fight. Dawson did get a little bit frustrated, but who can blame him? Hopkins is one of those type of fighters. He's fought those type of fights most of his career. But you can say what you want to about Bernard Hopkins. He got the job done in the fights that he was in. He wasn't in any. He didn't fight a lot of people, a lot of big names. Well, he did fight some big names, but he didn't really do with his career what people probably would think that he should have done with his career. But like I say, you say what you want to about him. I never seen the guy really take a beating in any fight that he was in. Even the fight against Roy Jones Jr., he didn't take a beating. That still was a pretty competitive fight. That was like when he was first getting into the boxing game after he got out of prison and whatnot. And the fight, it wasn't too much excitement in it, but I still watched it nevertheless. And now, we got to think what's next for Chad Dawson, because obviously Bernard Hopkins needs to hang it up. He gave us some good fights during the time that he was in the boxing. I just think he needs to give it up. I think he needs to go on. I think Bernard Hopkins, he probably needs to go into commentating. I think he'd be a great commentator. He's been in the sport a long time. He knows a lot about the sport. I think he should go into commentating now that his career has come to a close. But a lot of respect to Chad Dawson. He was trying to fight. That's the reason I gave him a fight. He didn't land a lot of those shots he was throwing at Bernard Hopkins, because Bernard Hopkins still has pretty good reflexes to be old. He did catch Hopkins with a couple of clean shots throughout the fight, but Hopkins, he still does have good reflexes, and plus he was holding the whole entire fight. And as far as Chad Dawson goes, I give Chad Dawson a lot of respect. Chad Dawson came out and he, at the end of the fight, he said, this Bernard Hopkins is a dirty fighter, but at the same time, he did acknowledge that he is a good fighter. He did acknowledge that. He said, he kind of seemed like he had a little bit more compassion for Hopkins after the fight. I think he wanted to, say a few words to the fighter, because I believe that he really does look up to Bernard Hopkins, but I guess Bernard didn't want to stick around. He, did his last fight and got a dodge. But much respect to Dawson for showing the sportsmanship at the end and acknowledging that he was in there with a good fighter. And he also acknowledged that Bernard Hopkins wasn't old as a lot of people think he is. So big up to Chad Dawson for winning. And I think that Chad Dawson, before he fights anybody else, as opposed to talking about fighting anybody else, I think he needs to avenge his only loss to Gene Pascal. And I think that would be a pretty interesting fight. I think he really does need to take that fight again, get a rematch with Pascal first, and avenge that loss, that one scar on his record, before he does anything else. And I don't know how many people tuned into the fight, but like I said, it was a boring fight. Actually, the fight before it was a lot better than the actual main event. So, like I say, I was wrong. You know, I try to give the underdog, you know, the old guy, a shot to see, you know, to see would he pull it off. I thought he had a chance. He actually did have a chance to pull it off, but he just didn't. He just didn't do enough. Maybe it was because of his old age. You know, I don't know. But he didn't do too much in that fight, and I just gave it to Dawson because Dawson was just really more active and really trying to fight. Hopkins was in there. It seemed like he was just trying to survive. So those are my aftermath thoughts on the fight, and my next boxing video that I'll be putting up is probably going to be talking about Floyd Mayweather versus Miguel Cotto fight. So once again, thank y'all for tuning in. All feedback is welcome. Anybody else on YouTube that are doing any boxing commentaries or anything to do with boxing, sports, you know, anything in general, you know, like, you know, feedback, you know, and criticism, whatever, you know, it'll really be helpful. Right now, I'm working with what I got and trying to put some stuff out here because I'm a big boxing fan, and I'm trying to connect to other people that share the same passion for boxing. Once again, this is Styles Varys signing off. Y'all be easy, and y'all will hear from me again soon. Peace.